You're here at Burial, which has just finished screening on the IMAX. Did you get a chance to watch it? What did you think?
Yeah, I watched the last half an hour with a couple of times. It's so great to see it on the big screen. Yeah, huge fan of Ben's work. Lovely to see it in a full cinematic way, not just on a small screen.
It is a really beautiful film. As much as it's a story about the horrors of war, there's all this lovely landscape cinematography, so it must have looked incredible.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say, and also spot on. Especially seeing it on that IMAX screen, the forests of Estonia just look beautiful, and the juxta of the horrors of war and the beauty of where they were makes for a beautiful film.
So I guess some people, they'll hear the name Burial, they'll hear that it's screened at FrightFest, and they'll probably be expecting, some over-the-top horror, but it's not. It's much more subdued, and it's a World War II drama, really, and it is focusing on the horror, the real horror that we all live with, which is war.
Yeah, well said. It really it is a historical film, and there's so much of those elements that I didn't know about when I first sort of signed up for it. But I love the horror element of fear, really, and how the Nazis or how people use that in a way to sort of manipulate the mind. So yeah, I think it's quite a strange, well, not strange, but I don't think it's really been done that much before, mixing these different elements together. So yeah, again, credit to Ben Parker, our director, for that.
I mean, one thing I wasn't aware of was how women were used by different countries during the war. I mean, over here, it's always the stock footage of the women going to the factories and stuff and taking over from the men. But in this, they were on the front lines.
Well, I think that was it, really. I think because as Brits, we have such a proud history of all the different parts where man, woman, and child stepped in. It's quite easy to sort of blur the lines with what allies were and who was doing what, and really the sort of the superiority of people stepping into roles that they probably shouldn't have done or weren't even invited to. And I think having a heroine as the lead of the film again gives it another reminder of that. Even though there have been so many amazing stories already told about World War II, they're not done yet. There's been more to come.
That's what I was about to say. It's been like over 70 years since the war ended, and yet here we are, audiences are still clamoring to hear these stories. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, I'm fascinated by it. I'm really passionate about reminding us of how recent it was. It's very easy to see that sort of, atrocious, the atrocities of those few years or 6 years are quickly forgotten when life is all rosy and sweet. So to be able to help remind myself and hopefully my nieces and nephews' generation, etc., then that's a cool thing. To find out that some of the history that we've told might be somewhat warped and somewhat might be biased. I'm going to quote the line horrendously, but history is written by the winners. It's the people that survive that get to tell it. So yeah, lots of cool elements.
And now you've been to war. What's next for you?
Now
that you've been to war, what's next for you?
Well, first of all, as much of an effort as it was to make the film, it was nothing on what people or half my age would have done, which is another reminder, really, of when you start complaining that your tea is not quite strong enough, you realise that maybe I shouldn't.
What projects? Where can people find you next?
Just finishing the 222, a ghost story at the Criterion Theatre. That'll be me for the next few weeks.
I wish you the best of luck with the rest of that, and good luck when the film comes out.
Thanks. Good luck
Thank you.
tonight.
Thank you.